Well, good evening YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today we have a beer from Barley Days. Today's beer is Snakebite Apple Lager. Sorry, Apple Ale. Apple Ale. I don't know why I said lager. I think it's... In all honesty, I think almost every apple beer I've had has been an apple ale. I don't know. Maybe I feel that an apple lager would have been more normal. Cider is usually fermented longer. Maybe. Okay, I'm done. 5.5% alcohol by volume. This is from Picton, Ontario. Again, Barley Days. I kind of like the label art there. The two snake eyes, and then they make the K into basically a snake tongue. I kind of like that. I kind of do. I won't deny it. So this is the beer that was forgotten in my first package that was returned to me. So thank you to the guys at Barley Days for that. Greatly appreciated. There wasn't much of a hiss. And there's schmutz right here on the bottle. So I'm hoping there wasn't a problem, but there is head growing in there, so it might not have been. Just like usual, I'm just bringing up any observations I make. That schmutz is kind of sticky too. It's sticky schmutz. It's very sticky schmutz. There doesn't seem to be any schmutz in the bottom, but we will do a 2-drinker with this and a 2-looker. Yeah, that schmutz is very sticky. So either some of it froze in transport, which is possible but not likely because it wasn't that cold this week. There was a subtle leak or something got spilt on it at the brewery, all of which are very possible, viable options. The beer looks fine. So we are not going to care. We're not going to care. Beautiful color though. It's got that kind of like brassy orangey color. There's a tiny bit of white head. There was a little bit more as it poured. There is a snap crackle pop, so I don't think there was an actual leak because there is carbonation there. Just wasn't all that much. So I'm going to take it as something was probably spilt on it somewhere. Hell, even my kids might have spilled something on it. Who cares, right? I don't care. I didn't pour out that side, I poured out the other side. Smell. You know, I had an apple cider that came from Clafeld fruit and wine markets, and the apple cider was an elderflower cider, and it kind of had this smell to it. There is apples. I guess my wife's going to bed. There is apple, and I'm getting like the tannic skin as well as the sweet. I would guess you'd think I'd know apple variants better because Christy's family does own, well, her uncles own apple orchards, but it's a red apple. I think there's a mixture of Macintosh and Red Delicious in there. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting a sweet like Macintosh scent with a kind of tannic, slightly off sweet Red Delicious. It smells really nice. Cheers. Okay. Medium bodied. And it actually tastes a lot like that Clafeld cider. I don't think this was flavor extracts or anything. There is no ingredients list on the bottle. I do not believe, or is there? Oh yeah, there is. I'm just too blind for this. Water, barley, hops, yeast, Ontario apple juice. See, I was gonna say it reminds me a lot of that cider, even all the way to almost a slight sulfite taste. Now they would have to claim sulfites if it was in there, and they're not. So it could just be my mind playing tricks on me. But I do kind of get that almost rubber taste right at the end, but not really. It's just kind of there, and I think it's only there because this tastes so much like that cider, and that cider had that underlying in it. There is a little. It's only 5.5% alcohol, and there is a little bit of alcohol warmth to it, right in the chest. A little bit of tannic dryness on the back end from like an apple skin, but since it's apple juice, I would have to suspect maybe hops. But if I hadn't read apple juice, I would still stand on the apple skin. It very much kind of does remind me. Very much kind of does. It very much kind of reminds me of a true-on snake bite. Mixture of beer and apple juice. And I mean, it reminds me of a snake bite with probably a pale ale or something like that as the mix, because there is that just hoppy dryness in the back end. Kind of earthy and dirty, and a little tiny bit of dryness, like just added dryness on top of that. Earthy, dirty, dry. On top of apples and a slight malt sweetness. All in all, it's probably the best apple ale I've had so far, other than maybe was it TW Pitchers, TW Packers, someone from California. They did a snake bite that was really good. But other than them, this is probably the best I've had, albeit I haven't had all that many, and I'm not a fan of many of them. I could get behind this one. I don't think I really like it personally. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's just not really my thing. And that's perfectly okay. I mean, I bought it kind of knowing it wasn't going to be my thing, but I wanted to try it anyway, and I tried it. Excuse me. It's kind of gassy. I tried it. Can say I'm not a big fan of it, and I can move on from there. Out of 10, a 6. It's not bad. It tastes like it should taste. It's just not a taste I really want. I will drink the rest of this. You can't waste any, but it's not going to be an on-camera chug because I just don't want to do that right now. And I gotta go take another norovirus. Has already left my system, but has wreaked havoc on my system. Liquid poo. So I gotta go, guys.